And a blast off. Hello, hello, hello. Well, so last week, or excuse me, last time that we did the three stack, the workshop stack, we talked about this side, right? And we talked about the experiencing the 360-degree success breakthrough and the three different barriers and each of the three different breakthroughs necessary to take you through those barriers. And in this week's stack of workshops, we're going to do the other side. We're gonna go over here, if I can figure out how to do this in a mirrored situation, and we're going to go through the legitimize, personalize, and capitalize steps. And so this is kind of the whole platform. Now, as we explained last week, and really, by the way, all of this that you're seeing that kind of opens up here, this is the journey through it. And it starts over here, and it brings you through with in a worksheet format, and so on. So that's what we're going to be doing in this week and into next, and with these workshop stacks in terms of specific ideas, specific executables, specific things to accomplish for you. And we know from what we discussed in the previous times that this is going to be based on applying this 360-degree breakthrough process to building online successful businesses, whether that's in any area or subject. We're going to be applying this process. Now, the beauty of doing it this way and using the teaching model as building a successful online business is that it will allow us to experience each of the three breakthroughs by coming up against the breakdowns or the barriers standing in between where you are right now, and so that we can truly work through them in an organized fashion. And also, the other beauty part about this is that it allows you to not have to worry about, like generalities of how do I get the clarity breakthrough? How do I get the confidence breakthrough? How do I experience the inspired action breakthrough? Or, the different things that are associated with it. And instead of trying to keep that straight in your head and figure that all out from scratch and try to adapt it for yourself, we're going to be applying it to a teaching model, and we're going to be using the three steps and breaking down each of the three steps in the process, being legitimized, personalized, and capitalized steps as it relates to building an online business. Now, as I also explained, and I'll be doing less of this as we go, but I want to just draw your attention to it very quickly, is that the same process, you're going to notice that the each of the three breakthroughs and each of the three major barriers and the emotions are just the journey from going down from where you might be down here, like not experiencing the success that you want to be, and where you want to be is up here, is experiencing that success. It can be on any topic, can be on any subject. And likewise, the formula to get there can be on any subject, whether it's legitimize, personalize, or capitalize. And what I'm getting at is that this is a universal process. I worked very hard to create all of this as principle-based stuff so that you can easily adapt it for your particular needs. It just so happens that the teaching model that I'm starting with is building an online successful business. And let's face it, there's so much noise. There's so much chaos. There's so much conflicting information, complexity out there, particularly when it comes to online business. Now, part of it is legitimate because the technology is increasing at an increasing rate. It's accelerating at an accelerating rate. And all of a sudden, like what used to happen in bite-sized chunks that you could actually acclimate to is now happening hourly sometimes. And so it's next to impossible to keep on top of it. And in fact, it is impossible to keep on top of it, of all the stuff that's going on. And that's legitimate. I mean, that's totally, so you say, well, how can anybody have a chance of success? Well, the good news is if you will apply this process, you can do that. Now, the other reason why I want to use the teaching model of building an online business is because I don't believe anything else in the world right now is moving as fast and is agile and is shifting as fast as that is. And so the amplification of both the breakdowns and the breakthroughs are all right there. And so you can bet that you're going to be able to experience that in way, shape, I mean, like, massively, and come up against things. And if we can make sense of that using this formula, using this process, this 360-degree process that allows you to enjoy happiness, fulfillment, making a meaningful impact, and reaching the material success simultaneously without selling your soul, without, creating this, without having to sacrifice your integrity or anything of that nature, then you can literally apply this same journey to anything in your life if there's anything that you're looking to accomplish. So what I mean by that is that, let's say you're looking to create fitness, or you're looking to find your ideal love life relationship, or whatever the big picture feeling that you want to accomplish something that you haven't yet accomplished. You still have to go through those 3 barriers, and the breakthroughs are the same that are going to take you through each of those 3 barriers. And you're still going to need to legitimize the different options. In other words, sift out the illegitimate options. And that's what we're going to be diving into today in depth. And then personalize it to what's going to work for you. And there's a number of things that we're going to dive into in the next, in part 2 of this workshop stack this week. And that is the going in depth on the on that, so that you can personalize it to your situation, and then so that you can achieve the goals that you want to achieve, so that you can see the results that you want to achieve given your particular situation, circumstances, and so on. And then finally, once you've got that in place, then you've got to execute on it. Then you've got to implement. And that's what the capitalized step is all about. So it doesn't matter whether you're talking about building a business and whether you're talking about online. Now, some of the stuff that I'm going to be drilling down on in all of the 3 workshops this week are going to be specific to building an online business. But you're going to see how you can apply this anywhere. But again, that's the teaching model that we're going with. So it will start to carry over. Now, the thing that you're going to start to notice, if you haven't already, but you're definitely going to start to see it this week, is that the 360-degree success, the breakthroughs that you want to see, that you want to achieve, is not about acquiring more stuff. It's not about getting new techniques, the next hack. In fact, what you're going to discover is that all of these 3 steps, or these 3 phases of the process that we're going to be driving deep on, and in fact, the road to experiencing the clarity breakthrough, and then the road to experiencing the confidence breakthrough, and then the road to experience the inspired action breakthrough, has to do with subtracting lots of excess stuff that is defraying your focus, defraying your energy. And it's about honing in on specifically so that you can, in essence, it's about multiplying or exponentially, geometrically growing by subtracting. And that's the big secret, right? So, and we've been talking about different pieces of this all along. But when we talk about wanting to experience the clarity breakthrough can only come and you can only elevate those, the R&D those Fred stories so that you can elevate yourself to the next level by, in fact, removing stuff and removing chaos and removing lots of distractions so that you can start to see the opportunities that were there for you all along, but you couldn't see them because there was too much stuff in your way, right? And the more that you remove that, and it's key that you start to learn how to remove the stuff that is specific to you. And so there's going to be some general things that I'm going to suggest to you. And then this is where we're going to get into the online business building aspects of things that you're going to use to generally simplify life and make your whole sense of relief and ease easier. And it's going to give you the permission that perhaps you've been wanting, but you just haven't had the validation yet to say, yes, this is okay for me to do this. And yeah, what I'm feeling is really, that's the right move for me. And so you'll see that from a general standpoint. And then in the next workshop stack, when we move into part 2 of 3, we're going to get into the specifics of your personalized scenario, situation, your strengths, your weaknesses, what you're looking to accomplish, what is your particular focus right now based upon where you're at, what you're looking to do. And all of this is going to be, again, applied towards a specific vision for building an online success according to your visions, according to your goals, dreams, and ideals that works for you, that allows you to achieve that meaningful impact and contribution that you want and still have success at it. So and then we're going to get in depth once you have those two, and that's going to really, those two combined together, the legitimize and the personalized steps. The personalized side of it is the specific to your life and to you. It's the adapting and adopting the specifics into your life. And then by the time we're done with that, then you'll have it honed down. Then the capitalized step becomes clearer and clearer. And that is going to bring you through the clarity breakthrough and the confidence breakthrough so that you're ready to start executing, so that you're ready to, that makes sense from an inspired place, that you now know that you're moving in the right direction towards something that will work for you right now, and that you have got the right vision. And then there's only 3 fundamental basic principles in building a successful online business. And I don't care what type of business model, and you're going to see this when we get to the third part, which is the capitalized part, where we start to leverage the ideas. But you're going to see what those 3 pieces are, and then you're going to see how everything that you've been doing or everything that you've been researching are going to be, either, if they're legitimate and if they're personalized, they're either going to be, helping one of those 3 areas, and you're going to understand now how that, where you might be weak in one of the areas and what you might have to do and why there's been a breakdown in the process. And then in future subsequent workshop stacks, what we will be doing is we'll talk about the pocket equalizer, or the living it process, which is how do you go from this tenuous grip on what this new information, this new insights are, to be able to create on an ongoing basis and know that, yes, success is not going to be a straight line. You're going to have some offshoots, but how do you stay on track so that within a reasonable period of time, like a business quarter or a 15-week chunk, which is what I would suggest that you break it down to, because you're going to see how it all kind of fits together so that you have both sides of the equation. That's what we're going to be doing in several of the other workshop stacks coming up in the coming time together. So that's the game plan. All right. So what we're doing now is we're going to dive deep on the legitimize step. And basically, the legitimize step is about sifting out the stuff that you shouldn't be even wasting your time on, that it isn't legitimate. It isn't legitimate, period, or it isn't legitimate for you, or it's going to be. And I'm going to give you some of my rules for me personally. Now, it's up to you whether you choose to adopt them or not. But they've worked extremely well for me, and I find it, and the people that I've taught this to also have experienced the clarity breakthrough and that relief of knowing that they have permission to unsubscribe to those types of lists because it's just extra excess noise, but they don't want to unsubscribe, or they don't know how to put that into a compartment if they can't unsubscribe because they purchase products and they don't want to lose access to the products if they unsubscribe. We get all that, right? So I have, well, in the online world, I have, as far as the Legitimize process goes, I have basically 5 sift-it tests specifically in the online world. And they really come down to 3 different categories that I've broken them down to. But I'm just going to kind of give you the outline. But basically, this is just like, what are they? And then does whatever you're looking at or whatever you're considering, does it pass or fail? Pass or fail, pass or fail. And if what you're evaluating passes all of the tests, and again, these are my tests, these are my suggested ideas to use as a legitimizing tool for you, okay? And you don't have to use them, and you can adapt them for what makes sense for you and what fits for your world. But here's some of the basic things that it's a non-starter for me. And the reason why is that what I find is, and the reason why you'll see, let's see, where is it? On this page, the funnel here, is that the Legitimize step is really about narrowing things down. It really does funnel things down, not in terms of a funnel like you hear about building your online business building funnel, but it is about creating simplicity, and it's about subtracting. And have you ever looked like burned newspaper through a magnifying glass when you were a kid, and you get it really kind of like you adapt it so that that tiny little point is the hottest point going on that step, right? And the tinier, the sharper it is, and you get the level just right from the sun going down onto the newspaper, and when you get it just tiny enough that it's coming through and sharp enough, it starts burning a hole right through the paper, right? And sometimes you can even get it to catch on fire. Well, that's exactly what we're doing with the Legitimize step, is that you're narrowing it down, you're focusing it down. And let's face it, if you put all of the different options, all of the different methodologies, the different training programs, the different pieces of advice that are going on out there, the different techniques, the different aspects of technology, that all of it could potentially help you or not. But I mean, like, if you put that all into a big giant pile, if you could eliminate 95% of that and not even have to look at 95%, but only look at the 5% that's legitimate for you personally, wouldn't that instantly sharpen your focus? And so that's what we mean, is that come up with a process by which yourself, it's a filter that you can put through, that whenever you're evaluating something, like if you're at all like me, when I see something, and because I'm a possibility thinker, so when I see something, I'm like, oh, I could do that over here and I could do that over there, and then I get distracted and go down that road. And if I don't pull myself back and say, all right, what am I focused on? All of that may be true, and all of that may be legitimate because I have that kind of ability to see that, create that into the future and see that. But what if I had, for right now, a filter or a set of criteria that I knew, no, I'm going to move that into the maybe later pile. And then that gives me permission to next. And so what you will find is that when you go through the sifting process, you will probably eliminate right now most of the overwhelm. I'd say a good 95% of your overwhelm in your daily routine about, oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? Like, which part should I try today? And, this didn't work. And I'm grabbing over here and I'm doing, when you will sift it down, you will find out that in fact, you will immediately feel that relief, and you may even immediately move into, and it'll allow you to start to see those Fred stories that you've been telling yourself. And if you will apply the techniques that we've been talking about in the previous workshops, you will be able to move that along much faster and R&D them so that you can experience the clarity breakthrough. And at the same time that you'll notice that at the same time that you feel clarity and that you feel that release, it is also adding to your confidence. It's filling up your confidence fuel tank so that you can move on to the next level. So by just simply eliminating and getting real clear on what you shouldn't be looking at, and that, oh, wow, you know what? I don't have to go through this scroll in this news feed today on this because that's just not what I'm up to right now. Next. Oh, look, here's this email list that I'm on that, you know what? This isn't serving me right now. So I'm either going to unsubscribe and I can resubscribe later because it's giving me the freedom and the focus to be able to, you get what I'm saying. So here's the three big ones that I would suggest that you adopt. And then I'll give you some examples if you want, but you probably already have an idea on how this works now. So the first one that I suggest that you use as a filter is look at the people that are promoting whatever they're promoting. Are they practicing what they preach? Or are they do as I say, not as I do? I see a lot of people talk about how they're killing it on Facebook ads or something. But the way that if you observe them and you see what they're actually doing, you will notice that in fact, what they're doing is they may have a successful Facebook campaign small, but the way that they make their big money is through a big launch or affiliate promotions or something like that, or something other than Facebook ads. And that is something that I would suggest that you stay away from. Now, I'm not saying that somebody doesn't have the ability to do multiple channels, because that's an absolute possibility. However, I would be very skeptical if somebody wants to show me how to, quote unquote, crush it on Facebook, and how to have the breakthroughs of your entire existence and get a $200 back for every dollar spent on your Facebook ads. And the only way that you hear about it is through non-paid Facebook ads, or the only or they don't have a demonstration of something other than selling information on how they did this on Facebook. Then I would be leery of that, because that is probably going to be a one and done type scenario. I'm not saying that what they did isn't right or isn't going to work or didn't work for them. But what I am saying is that it's probably not going to be principle based. So I would suggest that you look at their behaviors, whatever the example might be, that you look at their behaviors and are they practicing what they preach? So that's the first sift. And then right away, right? So if you're looking, and this applies to whether you're looking to get trained in something, get mentored by someone, or some process, or even a breakthrough application, a software application, or all of that. Again, you want to know whether it's going to have long legitimacy, which brings me into the I'll skip to the third big one, which is, battle tested, principle based stuff. Are you, like, for me personally, and I know that there's people that adamantly disagree with me, people that I respect dearly, that are good friends of mine, will argue with me tooth and nail on this, and that's fine. But for my particular needs and desires and vision for what I'm looking to accomplish, for me, I'm not interested in some shortcut. I'm not interested in some hack. I'm not interested in something that is going to be short-lived. I want sustained success. I want sustained results coming in. So when I don't want to be doing this, I don't want to get on that roller coaster of, reinventing your business every 6 months or so, because what was working before isn't working anymore, and you're always got to stay ahead of the curve. Now, some people can make a tremendous amount of money because they're first to do that on the breakthroughs and on and don't get me wrong, there's millions and millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, to be made doing that. I've made a lot of money being first in a lot of areas like that in my previous lives in business. And I don't choose to do that anymore because I want something that's principle-based, not short-lived tactics. Now, tactics are vitally important, but if they apply to principle-based stuff, and that's where you're going to start to see as we get into the third capitalized session, where we can start to really focus in on the process, but you're going to be able to see what tactics fit where and be ready and understand from a principle-based approach when one might burn out, so that you're never left holding the bag, you're never left wondering what's next. So that would be the big one. Now, so principle over tactics, or battle tested, like a proven business model. And we're going to get more into this on the in our next workshop on the personalize it step of the process. But you want to know that it's the second part is really like, is this a real business model? Right? And that's the second piece. Is it a real business, or is it just another, oh, I cracked the code, it's the holy grail, and this is what, email's dead, now you got to do this. Up, Facebook's dead, now you got to do this. Up, it's Clubhouse. Up, it's and it's always the next thing that you're hearing hyped is the next big thing. Or is it a sustained process? And you've got to, again, look at everything that's going on, who they are, what's going on, what the techniques are, how they've been, quote unquote, killing it, what made it so powerful. I don't know. But if it's truly that powerful, what created that power? What made it so? And is it going to be something that is, did they actually legitimately have success with it? Which, if they did, okay, good on them. But is it going to be the kind of thing that by the time you get to it and can adapt it to your particular situation and can personalize it and capitalize on it yourself, will the opportunity then be gone because it was a short-lived opportunity? You follow? All right, so that's the core three. Now, what I would here's the this was I created these 5 when I was in a pissy mood one day, because I was seeing all the outright just scams going on, and I created this as a way to sift through that. So it is more negative than I usually am on it, and it's these 5, but you're going to see that it falls into those 3 basic principles. Number 1 would be fake credibility. Okay, if they're using any kind of like endorsed by so and so, and it's not legitimately endorsed by them, or as seen on this, and most people you can advertise through Google GDN network on any of those major networks, you can get featured on wherever they're placing the GDN advertising network. You can get placed on those networks, and then you legitimately, quote unquote, can say, excuse me, as featured on blah 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 blah. And that's what a lot of people do, but that gives the impression as though those networks are giving the stamp of approval, that they are actually endorsing them. And that's fake. That's not legitimate credibility. Now, legitimate credibility is if somebody is writing an article on Inc.com or Fortune.com or whatever, Entrepreneur.com, and they endorse somebody and they link to the article. Great. That's legitimate, right? That is actually truly legitimately going on. And let me just pause this for a second. All right, so and that's good, right? But as you're going to see, that's not important. All right, the next one would be what I call bait and switch. Now, bait and switch is like like clickbait. Where they get you over to the site, they get you to opt in, they get, with the promise of something that never quite gets delivered. And when you get there, you get that, oh, yuck feeling, like, and it wasn't legitimate. But we can tend to suspend our, oh, yuck feelings if we're getting hammered with 800 emails from everybody promoting the same thing. Even though, what's up, Max? Woo woo. We can suspend our legitimate judgment if we start to see everybody in the world promoting it, right? That, oh well, if I really kind of respect so and so, and if they're saying this is good, then even though I'm getting the oh yuck feeling, it must be me. It's not them. It's me. So I'm gonna check it out anyway because I like that, and that becomes the bandwagon effect where you now have all of the different things going on out there that are coming at you from different directions all over the place, and then what ends up happening is because you see it in a launch environment where everybody seems to be promoting it, and everywhere you look seems to be somebody else is saying that this is the greatest breakthrough ever to come along, and you got to get in on this. It's the best, blah, blah, blah. And then you suspend your sift-it techniques because they aren't ironclad, right, for you, that you don't have this laid out like this, like we're talking about in the Legitimize step. All right, so the other one that I personally, and it's going to be odd to hear me say this because I've used some pen names before. You know what? Let me take that back. I'm not talking about legitimate pen names where you live as that pen name and you do that. What I'm talking about is a false identity that is a temporary false identity, like identity theft almost, right? Where I don't know if this is going on this much anymore. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But, where somebody will put up a fake blog or site and it appears to have all this credibility, and they will completely change their name for whatever makes sense to the marketplace that they're trying to appeal to. And they will write from somebody else, and it's a totally 100% fictional story that doesn't exist. They don't exist, and the story doesn't exist. It's just to appeal to sell whatever they want to sell. That's what I mean by a false identity. Now, a pen name that you are actually standing behind, or that you will put forth into the world, that is there's a reason for it, or that you're legitimately saying, like I'm not saying like where the rich jerk back in the day. That's not a false identity because he was being very upfront that was his persona, right? And Eben Pagan with Double Your Dating, where he was David D'Angelo. Well, that was Evan Pagan presenting as David D'Angelo, and everything that he did, it was him, but that was his pen name in that marketplace. I get that. That's fine. I personally don't have a problem with that, but I do have a problem with somebody manipulating the situation for a temporary period of time just to manipulate people into buying so that they can make a big score, shut down, and open up the next one that there's going to, that they can make a big score on. All right, so that's the false identity. Then this is a big one that I think you'd be surprised, but if you will just look at the behaviors and just kind of do a little bit of homework behind the scenes, it's what I call all flash but no cash. All these people, my buddy Dan Cushel, who you're going to get to meet on Friday, who is a brother from another mother, and we've made millions of dollars together as business partners, and became best buds and through business, and he's been on a vision quest lately, talking about beware of the naked business or naked online theorist who wants to sell you his shirt or her shirt. And what he's referring to as the theorist is that they're talking a good game. They think, they come off very confident or cocky or whatever, that this is what you should do, but they don't have any substance to back it up. And that's what I mean by all the flash, but no cash. They don't have a real business behind it. They don't have a real business model. They don't have a sustained success. Maybe they hit a one-time fluke that made some bucks, but they can't do it again with dependability because nothing is based on principle-based stuff that they could turn the tap on their business, turn it up and turn it down at will. So that is an example of all flash but no cash. And you can tell these people, and this is starting to die. I saw a great ad the other day on YouTube, and it was from, I forget his name, Russ Ruffino, and he's the guy, if you don't know, that has clients on demand. And since I started the on-demand brands back in '99, really, I'm very partial to the clients on demand model and how he did it, and I like his stuff. I like his marketing. I think he's strong. He's got some good stuff. Anyway, the video opens up with him sitting in this private plane, and he's got this table full of, this is $1 million cash, and here's my private jet. And then he gets up and he walks off, and the camera follows him out, and you see that the money was fake, and that the plane was in fact a set that was just plywood, and so he gets beyond it. And he's like, look, this is what a lot of people are doing online. So that's a prime example of the all the flash, and that you can start to see those things. Now, me personally, whenever I see somebody say, this is my personal sift-it, and I would really encourage you guys to adapt it for your own needs. But whenever somebody says, this is what I've done this, I've done that, I'm so great, I did this, and I say to myself, okay, could be true, could be complete fucking bullshit, I don't know, but let's assume it's true. What does that have anything to do with me? And if he really or she really cares about helping me or helping the next person coming down the road, why wouldn't they be talking about the people that they're looking to help? Why is it all about their ego trip and them and what they've done and all their experiences, unless they're using it as a context to show people how it would apply in your situation? It doesn't matter, because even if it was legitimately 100% true, how would you know? How would you possibly know if if it's going to work for you? And what would it matter? How does that say anything about whether it will work for you or not? And it doesn't. So all of that stuff, and all of the endorsements by other people, celebrities, stars, things, so-and-so in whatever capacity those stars might be that are saying this is, I fully believe in that. Yes, but that should be, like, in my book, that should be, I look at that as after I've already made the decision that this is for me. Then I say, all right, this is, if this person, and I respect this person, says that, because it's the same thing. Like, if somebody's had quote unquote success with it and had a positive experience and really enjoyed it, and they share that experience with you, great. And it gives you some insight into maybe the legitimacy of the process or the software or the program or the technique. But it still doesn't say anything about how it may or may not apply to your specific situation, right? So that's the bottom line. And then the fifth one is, go directly to jail type schemes. And we see those, come forth, make the rounds every so often, the illegal pyramid schemes, like what's that dude that just died recently that went to jail because he was running with a Ponzi scheme. His name will come to me, but you know what I mean? Like legitimately, not even accidentally, but like they're out to scam the world and like that. So, and those things you can smell coming if you will apply all this other stuff ahead of time. So that's basically the idea behind the Legitimize step, is have some filters, have them specific to you, write them down, and then as you're going through your day and you're feeling that anxiety, you're feeling any of the emotions that we talked about in the previous workshop stacks down, where is it now? It's right here. You're feeling any of these types of emotions here, or let's see, any of the lower end emotions or these emotions here, where you're starting to feel confusion, anxiety, frustration. Well, then that's something that you need to figure out what the filter is. Is it something that is a Fred story that you're it's always going to be something that you're inflicting on yourself because of the anxiety is going to come from within based upon you having resistance and pushing against it. However, thanks, Troy. Appreciate it, brother. So you're still going to have legitimate pushback. You're still going to have legitimate stuff with your Fred stories that are going to be coming back on you, right? That are going to trigger those feelings. However, you may find that why you're fighting with them and why those Fred stories are coming up is that you're insisting on staying in that jar, that, and the jar is because you don't have a filter. You don't have the legitimized step in place right now, right? That you can then push, and sift out the 95% of the chaos and the overwhelm and that anxiety that's going to bring you that relief. And so that's the first step in subtracting, to be able to geometrically expand and push out to the world what you're looking to accomplish. The next step is going to narrow it down even more. And in our next part 2 of our 3 stack this week, we're going to be talking about the personalize it step. And this is the part that I think is going to be the most illuminating to you personally. This is the part that I find everybody seems to miss. And it's why people are struggling so hard with finding sustained success, finding meaningful fulfillment and impact from what they're doing, all of that at the same time. This is going to make the difference for you. I think you're going to find it really, really profoundly valuable when we go through this. And I'm going to walk you through 2 different processes to start to personalize it. And sort it according to your ideals, sort it according to what you believe is right for you, and according to some filters there as well, so that we can narrow it down even more. And the goal is, by the time you're done with the personalize it step, that you have it narrowed down to one specific vision, idea, mission that you're working on. And then everything that we work on in the capitalize step is to allow you to enhance that specific focus in building your online success. All right, so some really cool stuff in store for us this week in the next coming stack of workshops, as well as in the coming weeks up ahead, so that we can really start to get into some sustained motion and creation and success. So I'm excited. Oh, and if you look in the description, like I mentioned earlier in the show, on Friday, we're going to have a guest, and it's my buddy Dan Kushel is going to come on. And I recently was part of his 300th episode celebration for his Growth to Freedom show. And oddly enough, coincidentally, or whatever, what I talked about on that show several months back is exactly what we're talking about this week. And it just comes at it from a different point of view, and you'll see how it kind of applies, and how Dan really is brilliant at bringing out different ideas and different elements. So there's a link in the description wherever you happen to be watching this. Go and click on that link. I'll just tell you what it is. It's growthtofreedom.com /312. The number is 312. And that is that particular episode. You'll be able to see that. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drilling down, and Dan and I are going to have a wrap session on Friday. So I think you're going to find that like the perfect wrap up to this stack of workshops this week. So I'm really excited to have you be a part of that. Would really appreciate it if you'd help us get the word out for this this program, this series of processes. And, if you would go over to speakuphere.com, get subscribed to the YouTube channel there, go over to motivationsucks.com, please, and get part of the newsletter subscription. And a very short order, within the next week or two, I'm going to be sending out worksheets and workbooks and an agenda for each of the three, stack of the workshops for the weekly coming up ahead of time. As we start to build out for this, and have some like PDFs that you guys can fill in the blanks on, so that you're have some specific executables to walk away with for yourself. So I'm pumped. I hope you guys are, and I will see you for part 2 or phase 2, the personalize part of the process, in our next workshop. See ya.